Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode. I'm here today with Ryan Stewart of Wilmington, Delaware.
Yes, sir.
Owner of Deep Conversations podcast.
That is me.
He's a great conversational person, the great energy, positive vibes, and he brings it every episode. He has guests on the show, and he brings it every single time. And I love it. I love every episode.
Appreciate that, man.
And you touch on all the bases. So you touch on from mental health to comedians to book writers to doctors to CEOs all around the world.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you, man.
Man, I appreciate you, man.
Thank you, man. You're welcome. You're welcome. And on the show, I like to talk about the blueprint of your life, how you got started, your foundation to who you are today, the man you became today, from personal development into your foundation of family too as well. So let's start from the beginning.
Yeah. Again, like you said, I was born in Wilmington, Delaware. I'm a one son of four sons. My mother and my father, they were very, very instrumental in my upbringing. You know what I mean? For a lot of people that don't know, I was born with cerebral palsy. So that started for me, which was like, I didn't think nothing was wrong with me. You know what I mean? My parents and my brothers, they ain't treat me no different. You know what I mean? When growing up, we fought, we wrestled, we was outside playing basketball. It never dawned on me that nothing was wrong until I started going to school. You know what I mean? And kids, growing up, kids are, what's wrong with you? What's wrong?
They're ruthless.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. So, you go through the teasing stages and stuff like that, and I'm like, what is wrong with me? You know what I mean? And my mom is like, nothing's wrong with you. My dad is like, nothing wrong with you. You know what I mean? But, it's as time went on and as I learned growing up, it's like, you go through trials and tribulations, but it teaches you about yourself. You know what I'm saying? So, coming through now, with the podcast, the Deep Conversations, I've always enjoyed good conversation. I've always enjoyed being just talking and just enjoying good conversations. And from where the Deep Conversations title came from, my grandmother last year or 2 years ago, she had passed away from cancer. But, me and her would always have really, really good conversations, you know what I mean? Just about life, just about everything, things that she went through. So when she would always tell me, you need to do something with yourself. You got to figure something out. You know what I mean? You can't let your voice go to waste. So, when she passed, that's where the idea for the title came from. Like me and my grandma, we always had deep conversations. So that's what I'm gonna run with.
Nice. So with that, as a young kid with cerebral palsy, how did you kind of educate yourself on what it is and how can you? What is it exactly?
Well, what it is, it's kind of a mental block in your brain to where sometimes your muscles don't respond to how your brain made, how your brain is telling it to go. But I'm blessed to only have been left with a small limp, you know what I mean? Because I've grown up and having different surgeries and things like that. I've seen children inside of the hospitals where they're in full body casts. You know what I mean? They can't move at all. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what it is. It's a mental block in the brain, and a lot of times doing research, it says it usually happens during birth. You know what I mean? A lot of times when the doctors are pulling the children out, your tissue is kind of soft, and sometimes it's a little rough. They grab you by your head.
Yeah.
And that's when a lot of times when that stuff can happen. So Yeah.
So is it important to find out who your doctor is, who's the birth person?
Yes. Yeah.
I never thought about that.
And a lot of people don't know. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's that's usually a lot of times when it happens. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's important to find out who your doctor is and what's going on. Cause you
don't know.
Yeah, the more you know.
All right, so I'm thinking best how to find out who would be the best doctor for your birth effect, right? So do you go around different rooms like, hey, this doctor is grabbing the baby a certain way? Do you kind of test the doctor, or how would you figure out what is best, you think?
You know what? I just think it's best to do to do the research on, a lot of things that can happen during birth. Because a lot of the times everybody's so amped up and ramped up and just, they pulling the baby out. You know what I mean? And a lot of times it's not the doctor. It could be, how the baby comes out in the breech position, where sometimes the legs come out first. You know what I mean? Or it comes out butt first. You know what I mean? So a lot of times, a lot of that stuff, it may not be the doctor, but it's just a lot of times. That's why sometimes pregnancy and doing the right things during pregnancy is
key.
It's
Okay.
Yeah, it's important. Yeah.
So through your stages growing up, dealing with cerebral palsy and just becoming who you are today, what was those personal developments that you had to do with yourself internally and externally?
Yeah, internally, sometimes you still, I think we all still battle with some things. So for me, internally, it was just to learn to love yourself. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times we tend to look for validation at other places. You know what I mean? And again, growing up with my brothers and, and watching them, seeing how they move, seeing how they, communicate, my mother and my father, and just that love that they gave, and grandparents and cousins, and, all of that. It's just that was a little bit easier, you know what I mean? Because it was just, you had love there, and it was just, and sometimes too, I'm a loner. You know what I mean? Even in school, high school, I kind of stayed to myself, because it plays in your mind of, I'm different. I don't want, maybe third grade, fourth grade, whatever it was, you got teased. So come high school, I'm like, I don't want food with nobody, because I'm ready to fight now. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, there's some times where it's like, I ain't got time for it, but, this is, externally, I don't know. I just, you just go through things where, it's just, again, the internal. If the internal is right, external gonna be good.
Nice. Yeah. So what do you do professionally and outside other than the Deep Conversation podcast, and how did you get here?
Actually, it's funny. The Deep Conversations podcast has led me to different areas in my life where we were talking off camera, I'm dibbling and dabbling with Comcast for a sports TV show. My 9 to 5, tell you a quick story. I didn't know what I wanted to do, with the podcast a year ago. When I started it, I was just trying to get it out there. Just try to figure it out. In the beginning of this year, I've been at my job for 11 years. So the beginning of 2022, I was done. I was frustrated. You know what I mean? I'm like, Lord, I remember like it's yesterday. I told myself, I said, Lord, I know what I want to do. I know what I want. I know where I want to go. I know what my purpose is. I'm just going to put my head down and I'm going to work. And all I ask for you to do is get me out of this job by December 31st. I left it alone. I ain't say nothing else. I just went on about my business. And as I'm moving and as I'm working, maybe about a month and a half ago, my boss was like, "Oh, your last day is gonna be December 16th."
So getting laid off.
Yeah. And I can't tell you the peace that I had with it, because I remember back in January what I prayed for. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, and as that's going on, you know, starting a TV show on Comcast. What's today? December 3rd?
December 3rd.
Starting a TV show on Comcast December 5th.
Hey.
See what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I ain't got no worries, man. God is good. You know, I ain't got no worries. That's been my dog since that's been my boy since I've been young. So yeah.
So how important is finding your purpose, and with that, having the faith to actually go after that purpose? And what is some steps that people can utilize to actually get to figure out what their purpose is, and how to talk to God for it?
Yeah, I think that's number one, is you have to have a relationship with God. You know, a lot of people think they can do it themselves. But if you look back at your life, everything that you try to do, you done messed up. You know what I mean? So you have to have a relationship with God to know where you're going. I mean, that's what the Bible is for. It's a blueprint to show you who you are and where you're going. So when you get a relationship with Him, it's a lot easier to be in touch with your spirit and understand who you are and what you want to do. And once you figure that out, just work. You just have to work, because nobody's gonna do it for you. You know, sometimes you sit around and social media has a tendency to make you judge yourself off of other people's, off of things you see on social media. You see somebody always at the damn beach, you know what I mean, or on vacations, and it's like, what are they doing? You know what I mean? But if you stay focused on your purpose, stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. You have to learn to stay in your lane. Don't worry about what nobody else is doing. Because at the end of the day, when the bills are paid, it's you who gotta pay it. Anybody else you think is worrying about you, none of that matters. Just stay focused on your dream, and just work at that. Just work at that.
And was finding your purpose, did you find it late in life or early in life?
Yeah, I'm 38 years old. I didn't figure it out until maybe 36. Because I mean, you got so many different distractions. I mean, and you're trained in this country to go to work. That's why who wakes up in the morning and goes to their job, you find yourself miserable all the time. You don't want to get up. You don't want to do because it's not your purpose. That's not your purpose. That's somebody else's purpose that you're fulfilling for them. You're going to a job that they own. So find out what it is that you like to do, and go after that.
So those conversations that you have with your grandma, right? What is three conversations that you have with her that still reminisce today, that you still look back at like, you know what, grandma was right? You know, what is those things that still reminisce in your head today?
Don't be afraid to be you. I think that sticks out to me more, because again, me and you was talking off camera, and when I was talking about just being trying to having those thoughts of like doubt, you know what I mean, and just things like that. She always kind of poured into you, and you know what I mean. That's that old school, just
soul.
Yeah, that's that old school, just soul that grandma loved, and it was like, no matter kind of what happened, I could always go back to her. You know what I'm saying? So it was just that you know, her saying just don't be afraid don't be afraid to be you, regardless of what you think somebody else thinks. All of that really is just, again, number 2, she says, you know, you don't be chasing ghosts. You know what I mean? And I
break that down.
Yeah, I had to, when I first heard it, I never really understood, but when she says, you know, don't be out here chasing ghosts, it's you think it's something that you're chasing. Okay, for example, kids want to be cool. You know, you're going after something, you're trying to, you dress a certain way, you're trying to put on clothes that look a certain way. That's not you. By the time you get down there and figure out what you think it never was that. That was a ghost. Stay in your lane, be you. You know what I mean? Just don't be out here chasing ghosts. Don't try to go out here chasing none of the crowds. Don't do none of that. All that is fake. It's smoke and mirrors, man. Those are ghosts. Just stay focused on you. It's hard enough to be you. Ain't no need for you to try to be somebody else.
Yes.
Nah, just be you.
So like with that, and the kids growing up in today's world of social media, and always having the highlighted person or those public figures, that's in the limelight all the time, and so that person dealing with depression because they're not themselves in a way. How can someone bring themselves back to being them again after trying to be somebody else?
I think that starts at home. You know what I mean? There's a lot of, unfortunately nowadays, I mean, it's been happening for years, but there's a lot of broken homes to where somebody is not getting the proper teaching like they do. So they're going out searching it. Again, like I told you when I was younger, I was looking, when you was asking me the internal, I was looking for validation from somebody else to tell me that I was all right. And you shouldn't need that. You know what I mean? You need to be around people, like-minded people like you. You know what I mean? It's not, I can say it's not hard, but it is. You know what I mean? It's, once you get down a rabbit hole of depression and all of that, and it's not.
Right, it ain't the best place.
No, man, it's not, because then you finding yourself going to things that you don't need to be going to, drugs, pills, and all this. You know what I mean? And then TV and all of this it's teaching you the wrong things, man. It's teaching you the wrong things to go after.
Wow. So where do you see deep conversations at in 5 years? And how you think you'll leave an impact on the world 50 years, 20 years from now? Content stays forever. So would you want people to look back at your show and say
that the show is real? The show, it's a platform that everybody can come and relate to. You know what I mean? It's a deep conversation. I want people to understand that it's okay if everybody has problems. Everybody has thoughts and things that you go through, and it's okay to open up and express those thoughts and those. You can have a conversation about that. It's okay. You cannot hold your problems in, because all it's doing is you're manifesting just venom. Once you let something sit inside of you too long, the only thing that's going to come out is anger and frustration. And that's why you see, for example, people in relationships or people who had breakups. You taking those problems and you holding those grudges, and you going over to somebody else and you bringing that over there. It's all you're doing is just you're spewing out venom. Let it out. And deep conversation, come talk to me.
Yeah.
come talk to me, man. We
Contact.
man. We can. We can come talk to me. We can sit down. We can let it out, man. And what do I see my platform in 5 years? I see my platform expanding to just bigger and better things, man. That I want to have a bigger studio. I want to have a bigger studio, and I wanted to be on a bigger platform to where everybody knows or everybody feels safe to come and have a conversation. If you know, I mean, I ain't talking about everybody don't be coming at me with just negative. You know what I mean? Just problems. I want, some positivity too. But, just to have good conversations. That's all. That's all I want. Nice,
man. What's your favorite quotes that you live by every day that keeps you motivated, keeps you going? And what are some books that people can read that you recommend?
My favorite quote is actually a quote in the Bible, and it's your sin will find you out. I think everything in my life, good and bad, I think that's probably one of the truest things I've ever heard, because I've seen it in people's life. I've seen it in my life. You can't run from, my grandfather used to always say, you can't run from yourself. If you walk across the street, you're gonna be over there when you get over there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, no matter what you think you hiding, it's going to come out. Your sin's gonna find you out. I mean, that's about as honest as you can get with it. You know what I mean? It's just, I carry that with me every day. You know what I mean? It's just try to be as honest as a person as I can. You know what I mean? And knowing even sometimes you do fall off the track. It's being honest enough with yourself is just get up. You made a mistake, stay focused and just keep on going. That's the one thing for me. Books that I would recommend. I think everybody knows I'm very much about my history. One of the books, Spook That Sat by the Door.
The Spook That Sat by the Door.
The Spook That Sat by the Door. That's one of my favorite books. Just an overview of it. He infiltrated the FBI. He infiltrated the FBI and figured everything out. But he was a gamer. But he got in, figured everything out. And but it's a really, really interesting book. You need to
check it out.
Go check that book out. Another book, I can't remember the name of it. I have you put it in the description.
Okay.
I have you put it in the description there, because I can't think of it. My bookshelf is over. I got so many books and everything in my head. Habits. It's called Habits, but I'm gonna get you the author.
Okay.
The book is called Habits. It's just about the human man. It's a real deep book.
Okay, nice. So who do you look up to, and why is having a strong family is important? Like having a strong wife, having your kids growing up. Why is this important to kind of grow them the right way or lay that good foundation?
Who I look up to is my father. I think he's laid such a perfect example to me. Just speaking for me, he's laid such a perfect example of what a man is. You know what I mean? A lot of boys growing up, you don't get a chance to, sit and every day see a man and how a man is supposed to move. And that don't always have to be somebody who's, quote unquote a thug. I mean, this dude having conversations with him now, he's always working, always seen him working, but having conversations with him, for example, he told me one time he had a job, and in his, for him to spend more time with his family, his 4 boys, and making sure he was there for his 4 boys, he took a $20,000 pay cut. For his job. But again, he said, dude, that's what it means about having faith. If I do this now, hopefully in the long run, it'll benefit, them with the time that I'm spending with them, and then financially. And now, looking at him now, and this boy is set financially like you. This dude, that's my boy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad is. That's now when I picture of what a man is, that's what I see.
Wow. So how can people reach out to you to come on your show, the Deep Conversations podcast, and for mentorship? How they can reach out to you too as well?
Yeah, Deep Conversations podcast. On YouTube. When you go over there, make sure you subscribe, please.
Yes, sir. You gotta subscribe.
Yeah, make sure you subscribe, man. And I hope the videos that I do put out it'll help people, with learn about entrepreneurship, learn about business, learn about the mental health. People talking about mental health and all of that. I think it's necessary for this generation. Because sometimes I feel like this generation is really, they're going by the wayside, and they're so in tune with instant things that are instant, that is
instant gratification.
Yeah, that you're losing focus on reality and the things that, the morals and the values of things that you need, to keep moving forward. So yeah, and to reach me, I guess I can give you my email. Stewart_2002@yahoo.com. Come talk to me, about anything, mentorship, anything. I'm here. The young guys, if you looking for a big brother or somebody to talk to, come talk to me. I'm here.
Yes. And with that, Stewart_.
2002
Make sure you're in the subject line. You put exactly what you want to have a conversation with him about, from mentorship or podcast episode. Make sure you put that in the subject line. That way it discriminates from different other emails too as well. So it helps out a lot.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, man. So any last things you want to say to the people, man?
Hey, Ron, I appreciate you. We go back like car seats. You know what I'm saying? That's you, my boy, man. I appreciate you coming to doing this with me, man. It's been a pleasure. You coming to my house, man, and coming chilling with me. Hope we can keep doing this.
Yes, sir. Most definitely. Appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
How many people was in there? 2?
No. Yeah, let's see. Insights. Let's see. What's live archives? How many people in live archives? 14 people.
People nosy. Nah, that's good. One day it's gonna be a whole lot more than that, man.
Let's see there. Then we'll do words of wisdom. Then we need to take a picture.
Oh yeah.